Hi everyone, my name is Mr. Liu and I am your 7-Minute Sensei. Today we're going to talk about absolute versus comparative advantage. When we're talking about the absolute advantage of the United States, we are talking about a country that is rich with resources. And so often you may wonder, why would we ever trade with another country or import from another country? And this is where we begin to recognize what is referred to as a comparative advantage. The comparative advantage takes into consideration our opportunity costs of the trade-offs. So while we could do a lot of things ourselves here in the United States, we find that it is sometimes to our advantage to trade or import. So let's talk a little bit more about what we're doing today. And okay, let's go to the next tab here as we look at we look at standard 5-2 in our Canvas assignment. Let's go ahead and zoom in on that a little bit. Okay. All right. The first thing we'll do is do a brief skill building exercise. This is how to write a compare and contrast paper following the instructions given by the University of North Carolina Writing Center. And so if we clicked on this link here, we would bring up this compare and contrast document. The template that I advise using is take a look at the one that's marked two ideas or theories, okay? So when you're looking at two different ideas or theories, that would be absolute or comparative advantage. And so that might make best sense as far as a template that you would use. Next, let's go back to the Canvas assignment. Okay. We will watch a couple videos about absolute and comparative advantage, and those will be in study.com. So let's go ahead and take a look at one of those right now. Okay. And let's go ahead and start the assignment here.
In the 1700s, famous economist Adam Smith taught us that countries should find out what they can produce more efficiently, which really means cheaper, better, faster, and then specialize in what they do best, trading with other countries who are also doing what they're best at. For example, let's say you're entering the job market and you're evaluating your options for a career. At the same time, your neighbor, Bob, is also evaluating his options. Now, you have an absolute advantage over Bob in baking cakes. Whether it's chocolate cake, vanilla cake, or pineapple upside down cake, if both of you bake the same cakes side by side, you'd be the one who could bake 3 times as many cakes in an hour as he could. You're really good at baking cakes, and certainly better than Bob is, who's struggling to get the first cake rolling.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pause this particular study.com video and take you back over to the Canvas assignment. So come over here.
Between the two of you, you are the best at it.
Let's pause that again and take a look at second tab here and the comparative advantage.
In the late 1700s, the famous economist Adam Smith wrote this in the second chapter of his book, The Wealth of Nations. It is the maxim of every prudent master of a family never to attempt to make at home what it will cost him more to make than to buy. What is prudence in the conduct of every private family can scarce be folly in that of a great kingdom. He's observing two important principles of economics. The first one is that nations behave in the same way as individuals do, economically. Whatever is economical for people is also economical on a macro.
So, comparative advantage, a simple example of that is if I make $10 an hour working at the rec center and I can hire somebody to do a project in my house for $5 an hour, then it might make sense for me just to hire that person at $5 an hour, go make $10 an hour, and I'm ahead $5 an hour. So that's the comparative advantage, just a simple example. But let's go back to the Canvas assignment and see what's next.
Or large scale.
Okay. I do have a reading for you as well, and this particular reading is from Investopedia, and it gives you a really nice, simple explanation of the difference between absolute and comparative advantage. Finally, your assignment will be to select and research a country that begins with the first letter of your first name. What are the absolute and comparative advantages of your selected country? Please explain why and submit your analysis on Canvas. Okay? So you as a student would just click on the submit button that you would have on your screen and then write that analysis. Okay? Well, that's about it, folks. That's what we're going to cover today in absolute versus comparative advantage. My name is Mr. Liu. I am your 7-minute Sensei, saying so long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen, goodbye, sayonara, ciao, 再见.